Okay, today I am sharing the real Camp America must-haves. And I'm not talking about the obvious stuff like bug spray and extra socks, but things that you seriously don't think about until you get to camp and you wish you had. Trust me, I've been there and I want to help you the same way that I wish somebody had helped me. I'm going to share some things that I regret not bringing and things that I regret bringing, so you can avoid wasting space in your luggage. Let's get into it. Okay, firstly, these are some things that I regret not bringing. The first one is a speaker, which is a real must for the cabin. Thankfully, one of my American co's had one, and it honestly helps so much trying to get the kids ready in the morning. We had a 3-song routine which helped them know what they were supposed to be doing at that time. So one song was for brushing their teeth, one was for making their bed, and one was for getting dressed. And then they knew that they had to be on the porch waiting for us at the end of it. It was really great to have during shower hour as well, and it just kind of lifted the vibes in the bunk as well. But sometimes I wish I had a speaker on my activity periods. To go along with this, an old iPhone or an iPod. We weren't allowed to have our phones in the bunks, which is a huge camp rule and very common. So having one of these for music or for writing notes, or maybe even taking photos if you're allowed to, instead of taking a camera. However, if you can't take one, then another must-have that I would really suggest that you take is a camera, digital or disposable, it doesn't really matter. This year I'm taking a digital because I was so annoyed and jealous that I didn't take one last year. I took my Polaroid last year, but I didn't use it that much because film is so expensive. And like I said, you can't take your phone in the bunks to take photos. So the only photos that I really have are during my off periods or the ones from the camp photographer, which she's trying to take so many photos of so many people, so there's not that many. Another one is more activewear. Like I said in my camp advice video, I took a lot of clothes that I would wear back home, which I don't regret, but I wish that I had more activewear. Because at camp, you will literally live in activewear. And yes, I took some activewear, but it was mostly just bike shorts. And trust me, flowy activewear shorts are so much more comfortable. So I ended up making a big order to be delivered to camp with a lot more activewear. So definitely bring more than you think. The next one is something for your bed, like a squishy or a teddy. Something that just makes it feel a little bit more comfortable and homey. Also, I said this in my other video, but I suggest buying a new doona cover as well, if you can, because it just makes your space feel so much more like your space. Another one is a water bottle cleaner. There is a big story about this. My water bottle was gross because I wasn't able to clean it properly. I had this terrible cough, like nasty, couldn't stop coughing kind of cough. And I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. I had taken cold and flu, paracetamol, so much, and then I went to the nurse and she had asked me if I had cleaned my water bottle properly, and turns out there was mold inside of it. And I was not the only one. So at the end of camp, I ended up throwing it out and buying a new one. So take a water bottle cleaner. Nail cutters and tweezers, just don't forget them. A big one is a fan. It gets so hot in the bunks and even just during the day when you go to meals, and this is coming from an Australian. I'm just gonna say now, this was quite funny to me and my friends know this, but at my camp I was the only Australian. There was a Kiwi, but most other people were from the UK, and it was hilarious watching them talk about the heat wave when it was 30 degrees. But I will say, it is so important though, get a fan. In our cabins, we had these big fans, but I'm pretty sure all they did was make noise and not actually do anything about the airflow. Another thing is a smaller toiletries bag for my nights off. Mine was just way too big to fit in my backpack, so I ended up using my co's, but I definitely suggest just bringing a smaller one just for your days off. Okay, I'm so sad to say this, but another one is cheap sunglasses. I took my Ray-Bans and they got lost at a water park. And I was very sad, but I still love my co. But in saying that, I do suggest taking a bunch of cheap pairs. After this, I ended up buying 3 more from Primark and Amazon, and I ended up going home with 1. So all in all, I took 4 and I brought home 1. Another one is Aquaphor. I don't know what it is, but there are some strange things going on in that lake. And the difference in weather can also just affect your skin, so bring some Aquaphor. You'll probably need it. Another one is multiple chargers or adapters. We had to keep our phones in the field office, but I wanted to charge my watch in the bunk at night time so that I could wake up and wear it and not have to go to the field office. My co and I shared her adapter in the bunk and then my one in the field office, and our American co also gave us one as well. But yeah, just make sure that you bring 2 at least. Another one is spirit wear, especially for the 4th of July. At my camp, we don't have many spirit events, but the 4th is massive. So if you don't bring any spirit wear, at least bring something that is red, white, or blue. But if you can't take something or you don't have something, don't stress. People do share. Another one, I spoke about this in my other video, but a mirror, even just a small, cheap one. The mirrors at camp are often taken up by your campers. So having a small one next to your bed is always better, especially when you want to do your makeup or your eyebrows. And plus you can take it with you on your days off as well. Another one is scissors. If you know, you know. Trust me, someone will always need scissors at camp. You'll need them for friendship bracelets or cutting off tags or opening packages. Trust me, you will need them more than you think. And finally, a book lamp, a coloring book, and pens. If you know, you know. You will want these things for ODs. Trust me. Okay, now I want to get into some things that I regret bringing. The first one is my Ray-Bans. Already said it. Still sad. Number 2 is a book. Firstly, it's heavy and something that you end up just lugging around with you. But secondly, you also don't have time to read. The only times that I had time to read was on my OD or during my rest hour with the kids. Firstly, try and read a book while you're looking after like 8 to 12 children. It's near impossible. But secondly, you'll want to take a nap. And if you really want to read, people lend books out, so I would just suggest trying to find those people. Okay, the next one, and it could be a little bit controversial, but I'm going with sneakers, and I mean like running shoes. At camp, all I wore were my Air Force Ones and my Birks, and I would say that most other people just wore their Crocs all day, every day. So I would not waste the space on sneakers. Okay, another strange one is an overnight bag. Again, it just weighed down my suitcase, and we usually just took our backpacks on days off. You just don't need a duffel bag or anything that's too big like that. Another one is my laptop. It took up so much space, and every time I went to the airport, I had to take it out of my backpack, out of the sleeve, through security, and it was just always such a hassle. It made me so stressed. I don't know if it's just an American thing, but I swear we don't need to do that in Australia. I didn't plan on taking mine this year, but I am now because I have YouTube, but I would suggest not bringing it if you aren't working in photography or anything digital like that. And finally, something that I regret bringing last year was a suitcase. It was fine at camp, but traveling before and after camp was a nightmare. Firstly, I was always over the weight limit. I was lucky because at most airports they would just tell me make sure that it's lighter on the way back, which obviously there was never a way back. But also after camp there were so many train stations with stairs, and it was just an absolute pain. And I have recently learned that I can actually fit my entire life into a backpack, so I'm taking a backpack this year. But yeah, that's everything. I really hope this helps you pack a little bit smarter for camp and don't make the mistakes that I made last year. I also have other camp videos on my channel, like a shopping haul, Camp America advice, and my experience at camp, which also answers some real juicy questions. But for now, hopefully I'll see you in my packing video. Bye!